I was 4 years old when the world decided it didn't quite know what to do with me. 4. Old enough to remember, but too young to understand why mom and dad just couldn't. So the state had papers, strangers had opinions, and the system had labels. Problem child, special ed, medication, the little bus, and a rotation of buildings with the names like boys' homes or facilities, places where the doors locked from the outside and people write reports about a kid who just wanted someone to stay. 15 years. In and out of programs, diagnoses, charts, behavior plans, pills that made the world fuzzy and silence louder. But there was one constant, my grandma. When I was 4, she reached into the wreckage of my life and said, "No, that one's mine." And I don't know if she knew what she was signing up for, because I was not an easy kid. Angry, confused, broken in places that people just couldn't see. But she never gave in. Not once. Not when the calls came from schools, not when the facilities called, not when doctors talked about me like I was a project instead of a boy. She stood there, a small woman, a strong spine, holding the line between me and the world that had already decided what I was going to become. And in all those years, I only ever saw her cry once. Once. I walked in and she thought no one was watching. And it was that moment that has stayed with me my entire life, because even through her pain, through her exhaustion, through a life that probably asked too much of her, she never made me feel like I was too much. That then time did what time always does. And it started stealing things from her. Her memory first, names, days, the sharpness of her mind. Dementia is a cruel thief. It takes pieces of the people we love and leaves their bodies behind. But here's the strange thing. Through all of it, through the confusion, through the forgetting, there was one thing her mind refused to let go of, and that was me. Even when the world around her started fading and the end started to come, months without words, months of silence, the doctor said she would likely never speak again. So I went to see her. And when I saw her, something lit up like a light flipping back on in a house that everyone thought was empty. She started talking, and not just a little, hours, stories, memories, laughter. We talked like the years hadn't taken anything, like the fog had lifted just long enough to help her find me again. And for a few hours, and a few hours later, she would pass. And maybe it's just me that tells myself this, but it felt like she was waiting for the boy that she chose when the world didn't. And on the same day, the cat, our old cat, Bandit, 20 years old, Bandit had been there through everything, through the chaos, through the boys' home, through the years I came back and the years that I disappeared again. Bandit curled up on her lap, the same lap that had held me together when I was falling apart. And Bandit would pass on the same day. Like even the cat knew that his shift was over. And people say that time heals, that they say you move on, but living without her is the most painful thing that I have ever been through. It feels like something inside me is always dying on a daily basis. And if I could trade places, if I could give my life for hers, I would, without hesitation, without fear, because the world deserves more time with her. But I will not regret the pain. I will not regret the memories. I will not regret the nights where grief sits on my chest like a weight that I cannot move. Because every bit of that pain means that I had it. And if love means living the rest of my life, reaching for someone who is no longer there, then I will keep reaching. Every day, every memory, every breath. People often talk about angels, like they have wings, like they glow, and like they float around in paintings. But my angel had wrinkles, tired hands, and a stubborn love that refused to give up on a broken kid. And she wasn't perfect. She was better than that. She stayed. And if I became anything good in this life, anything worth remembering, it will be because when the world said, "We don't know what to do with this boy," one woman stepped forward and said, "I do." And I am grateful. I am thankful, because some people spend their whole lives searching for an angel. And I got to call mine Grandma. And if the world ever wonders what happened to that boy, that 4-year-old boy they didn't know what to do with, the answer is simple. He survived because she chose him.